So where are we?
How's it going? So yeah, we're just outside Yeovil, a little village, and we're about to go and view a rill, actually, 45-metre long. That possibly is the only ecosystem-style rill in the country. And so yeah, we came in last year, just after first lockdown, actually. Yeah. Dare I say it?
I remember seeing some pictures.
And yeah, transform this rill. The rill itself was, failing. It had green water. There was no life. It was becoming really stagnant. There was no flow because of the style of system that was created. And so we've come in here, we've ecosystemified it, if that's a word, or I've just dubbed it there. We've created our constructed wetland at this end here. So this goes down to about 1.8-ish metres deep. And within this, we've got our snorkel, our centipede, our aqua blocks, and then our various layers of rocks and gravel, starting with our sort of big, head-size stuff at the bottom, working to this sort of size stuff, and then all the way to this size stuff, and then this size stuff, all the way at the top. And that's then providing a massive home for beneficial bacteria and enzymes to actually break down and keep this water clean and clear, ultimately, creating that sort of ecosystem we're wanting to create.
So this essentially is like the biofalls, the wetland, water's coming up out of the gravel, because you can't really see it until you get to here, can you?
Yeah, so we've tried to create sort of this fun stream sort of starter shape to it. So the house of where we are is a really lovely setting. To my left-hand side, we've got open countryside, which is just wonderful rolling hills of Somerset, and on the right we do have the lovely period house. And what we wanted to do within this, or the client's brief, was to actually create that blend and merge the two together, so create that sort of naturalistic and formal elements together. And so what we've done is we've added these sort of accent boulders in various places along, and actually created these sort of planting pockets on stages down, and then sort of tried to just blend, as I said, sort of adding those twists of nature to this formal setting.
So what was here before was a green rill?
Yeah, so
was it concrete? Have you put a liner in here?
Yeah, so we've added an EPDM liner, which was box welded to fit, with a few little seams we had to do ourselves. Yeah. So the real shell was here, so the exterior, but it was just a painted liner, which was then failing, as they do. They don't last very long at all. So we've come in here, we've actually added then our underlayer, our liner, our overlayer. Then actually on the sides, we've tried to blend the slabs to the same size and the same colour as what's originally there. So to try and blend
it looks great. I didn't know whether it was concrete, and that's testament to yourself, isn't it?
And then actually, because of the type of the system, we didn't want to disturb anything around here, because we've got some funky little sets on the sides and some lovely trees and things. So we actually kept everything internally. So we kept all our plumbing internally and made sure it stayed within there. So we had to do a few little funky seams at the ends to make sure our wetland held properly. But the testament to this, to the clarity of the water, because, well, it's crystal clear. Yeah. There might be a little bit of hair algae, but that's not a bad thing. Yeah, so actually we've got, I think, 6 jets strategically placed in various locations after the planting pockets. So if you look just here, you can actually see a little bit of hair algae that's waving in the flow there. So that's actually pushing all the water in one direction. So what we're trying to do is actually just do this with the water. Yep. And push all the water to the wetland. So there's one pump going to the wetland at about, I think, 15,000 litres an hour or something, maybe a little less. And the other one's 20,000, linking up the circulation jets. So obviously incrementally disposing water throughout the rill to making sure we've got that nice push current all the way down. And yeah, looking marvellous. It's only just come up to a year old, and it's faring quite well. They've had flowers on the lilies. The irises are quite a fun thing as well. So exterior, we've got Dutch iris, and so in the spring, as they come out, you've got whites to sort of purple and whites to purples to these variegated types here, just slightly darker there, and actually right at the end you've almost got almost black, the really dark colour.
I remember watching a video or a social media post, and you were saying about that. Have you got something on YouTube for this? Is it the construction or
the video of the whole construction process of this video is on our YouTube, so just crack on DU Waterscapes onto YouTube, and it's on there, so feel free to watch that process. It's quite fun how it came together. And so we've actually mimicked, that's what I was trying to say, is that we've mimicked those iris. And we've then done whites all the way through mauves, purples, and actually gone to then black gamecock, which is the darkest one we could find, all the way right down the end. So we've taken what's exterior and actually tried to blend it in as best as we can. You can see a jet bubbling away there really nicely at the surface, and you can actually see the flow. What it does as well is having these shallower and deeper sections, it increases and decreases the velocity of the water. So they're not there just for planting pockets, they're actually there to again work as another skimmer, sort of intimately down the rill.
And work like the chalk streams around here.
Exactly, yeah, exactly that. Yeah, exactly that. So it is kind of a pool and riffle sequence which you would find naturally in a river system, although it's in a very formal setting, but it works and blends really well.
So how did the clients find you? You say that it was a green reel before, so how did they actually find you?
I can't remember. How did they find me? I'm guessing they did a web search. You know, our websites.
Search,
yeah, Google's pretty good nowadays. A lot of our customers do come through just sort of Google and that thing, and we've got a plethora of reviews on there now as well, which is kind of nice. Which is always, always gives you a sort of the satisfaction, isn't it? Gratification from a client who's happy with your work, and this one is one of the nicer ones we've done.
And what was their main focus? Was it wildlife, or was it just get it from a green reel to a clear reel, sustainable?
I think it was obviously to stop the leaking. It was defunct of life, and considering where we are, there should be loads of life. There weren't even any sort of backswimmers or boatmen or anything in it, and now there's loads. So it was a bit of getting the reel back to a good ecological standard, but actually trying to make those lines blend, between the formal and the natural elements, because the client loves the gardens that were set out here, but they are very into nature and they do like that type of thing. So having that opportunity to be able to put these sort of funky accent boulders cut into the edges and add those little funky elements like we did here, where we've cut the stone in half, you see, and then set it flush to one side, nipped off the end, and actually it's given you quite a fun planting pocket, which you don't see necessarily from photograph, but the detailing in real life is actually quite cool. There's
a lot of work involved that it's lost on, and it's local stone, is it?
Yeah, this is a local stone. This has come literally from 10 minutes away.
And do you call it hamstone?
It's hamstone, yeah. So it's a well cemented coarse grain limestone actually, and it is actually really quite a nice stone. Comes from Ham Hill. And we've been working with our supplier for a few years, and they do know exactly what we're trying to achieve, and yeah, it comes together really well. And that's one of my favourite shots, is back up through there, actually looking at how sort of pleasant it does. When these dioramas, the Angel's fishing rods, are out in flower, you can imagine it's quite a nice shot. And then in spring, actually springtime's probably on mid-spring, it's its best time, because you've got all the Dutch iris out, you've got our aquatic irises out, and then these follow just after. And then into obviously the summer, you've got the water lilies and a few other things that do come out. So yeah, and then what we've done actually to blend that even more, we've come down to this end. We've actually created our small ecosystem pond with our skimmer, which is then housing everything to basically bring everything to this one end. A little bit of string algae, but nothing to be worried about.
So where are we going next?
So where are we going next? We are going to see an ecosystem pond, and I'm not going to tell you too much because we'll go see it.
Perfect, let's go.